but I mean, this is a step in the right direction for Amazon. And again, just another one of these names that I want to buy on dips. I didn't buy anything today or anything like that, like in my own personal account. So I was thinking, I mean, I talked about the names I want: Tesla, Amazon, Uber. I don't really want Airbnb anymore. Some of that stuff is getting to be a little spicy on that side, legalities and stuff. Those are basically the three names right there that I want to buy. There's, Palantir, if we get...
You know where to bid Tesla.
If we get too much more, yeah, I mean, Tesla. So it's just a matter of waiting, like waiting for that day and hopefully being able to get some of those bids filled or whatnot. But yeah, Amazon's one of those names. So I'm excited for it, but would rather this news come out, you know, after I bought it. But right now, we'll just see if it can hold this bid up almost 2% here.
All right, just be aware, Williams-Sonoma is going again. Now 11% on the day, just took out the highs here on decent volume as well. For WSM, just quickly guys, there we go. Taking out the highs. If you missed it earlier, there was some M&A rumblings or the possibility of a takeover rumblings being passed around, and it comes off of this. There was a 13G filing showing Green Equity Investors, the IXLP, is increasing their stake significantly in WSM. So anyways, let's talk Microsoft, Google, and Tesla. We had them grouped together today because of a note suggesting all three, not necessarily together in any sense, but all three individually. We're looking at investments possibly into Thailand to the tune of about $5 billion.
Yeah, and that's not really surprising, Brenda. We've heard a lot about this de-risking away from China as geopolitical tensions come to the foray. But yeah, Thailand, one of those areas where, you know, Elon Musk was speaking with the Prime Minister of Thailand. They're looking possibly at one of those regional centers there. But like I mentioned in the morning, I think where they choose to build is going to have a lot to do with where they're able to get the rare earth elements, because it's very important that they actually get the batteries to build these things. So I know with Saudi Arabia last week, there was some talk about the Congo, this and that. We'll have to wait and see how this plays.
Not huge moves right across the board for any of these. I mean, Microsoft is, wow, dead flat. But nice bounce for Tesla anyways today, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla's kind of dead flat too. I mean, Tesla, it's weird. I can't remember I feel like Tesla isn't usually on par with the NASDAQ like this, but it's like 0.25, NASDAQ's 0.2, 0.21, whatever it might be. So a lot of times you're looking for, in the afternoon on a bullish day, I'm always thinking, okay, well, Tesla can outpace the market when we have an update. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Ooh, watch out, Meta. Meta might stop out any second now. Don't want to give it too much more than 40, 50 cents. But Tesla, I liked the 242 this morning. And I thought if it held that level, there was room to 250. We haven't gotten there yet. So if the market can take out the high and approach 15,000, to me, Tesla's going to be a long in that scenario. Whether or not we get a chance at 240, 242, or you're just looking at this consolidation here. Friday's close 245, and 245 is your support right now. That lends me to thinking, if you look at the 245 level this afternoon, that could be the place to go for the long on Tesla. Just look at yesterday's close. It was a bit of a triple top there in the early morning, and now it's turning into a bit of support. I don't think there's another level to work off of on Tesla other than the 245 one. So that's where I'm going to be looking for the long. As I said, room to 250 here, but if the market never breaks the top and makes a challenge at 15,000, like how much are you going to get out of the long? If we don't get out of this range, you're probably more scalping that into the high of the day as opposed to thinking you can get to 250 today.
Yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about a name there, Microsoft, that's on that board. I mean, I'm in Google. We could talk about that too, but Microsoft's still red. So I've been just trying to get the short, but you could see it's just it's doing nothing. It's like hovering in the middle here. You could tell that by VWAP in the 200 period. We're at it, and it's just kind of doing nothing. I tried to short this against 317, got stopped out right there. Short, this is where remember we talked about this early. We lost early, that's 933, ripped it, then shorted and made it all back on the short, so it's all good. Microsoft is hardly a disaster, but we did lose it a little bit right there. We haven't really traded it since. I still like Microsoft breaking back down below the bottom there, but it's a matter of time if and when that will come through. Google, we just got more right now. Short, this name again, it's up, and all we're doing here is just playing off 131. So just to make sure that we have a break there, yeah. If we break back above 131 right now, then we're going to get out of this name. It just the longs, like we had the long, we talked about that. Then we had look at this. Here's the long. there's the flip into the short, back down. So we went upsy daisy and right back down, obviously putting us net positive here on Google. And there it is right there. Okay, you know, we just did it. There's the reload. There's the reload short. So let's just put a bid out right now at 74. If we can get it for a quick little dime, there it is right there. So there it is. I mean, this is exactly what we're doing one more time. So it's a little bit of a move. We'll see if it can continue to work. But it's just scalp city, man, as the hot dog man going crazy right there again. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's wait to see. I'm hoping for a downsided move. But if this market just can hover the rest of the day, we're short AMD, we're short Google. And, hey, the market's going to have to make a move at some point. And whenever I sit here and think about, you know, net, what we're trying to do, maybe we do float back into VWAP here at the end of the day. So if that happens, these shorts will print, and if not, we're very, very close to getting out. You know, and this is why we take that 10 cents, because it's roughly 1-to-1. You know, so we'll take that out for 10% or even less than that. And then hopefully, you know, get a downside move. And if we get stopped out, we get stopped out, and the market decided to go up. So, you know, not much we can do if that winds up happening, but so far so good. Like even out here on AMD, now we got out more than 50% obviously of our AMD because we hit the 50 period, but right now you're starting to go back up to the upside. And the same story here for AMD. We break that high of the day, 97.15, and we're gone. So we're getting very, very close to, you know, having to make a decision on some of these plays, but I'm averaging on both of them until those levels are broken.
All right, let's talk Netflix. Wasn't much to do with Netflix. I mean, all of these streamers in play today, Disney included, Paramount, Warner Brothers, all interesting anyways in the pre-market here on this. If you missed it, tentative deal apparently has been reached, but no ratification yet, it would appear anyways, between the two sides, but could be any day now, including today. But not much to do here with Netflix today.
Yeah, and we'll have to wait for the actors to settle as well. They've been on strike since mid-July, so we'll have to see how that goes. The part of the debate between the two sides was the use of AI and the profits from streaming. They kind of want to streamline that at a legacy TV and into streaming. Streaming obviously not as profitable for some of these streaming companies, so they were trying to hold more of the profit. The writers didn't like that. We'll see how this one plays out.
I can't stop watching this Williams Sonoma. It's again making new highs here on volume. I'm going to look into this a little bit more because this is significant, guys. Typically, when we see these types of moves, they just come right back down, but not today for Williams Sonoma.
Yeah, like when you hear speculation of a deal or an acquisition, it's like stock spikes up, and then as everyone waits around to see if there's going to be like a firm offer or some kind of an update on it, like the stock just snaps back in, maybe finds a bid. It doesn't just sit there going straight up all day long. And not to skip over Netflix, but I'm not sure. I don't know if I see anything in Netflix. We talked about this in Lunch Money, but I do see something in Disney at least, and it's not necessarily a good thing. So yes, writer's strike over. Friday's low here at like 81 change is now turning into resistance. So literally Friday's support on a day where you think there'd be good news for Disney is turning into Monday's resistance level. So off this 81, it feels once again like Disney's a short off of that level, 81.25 approximately. As I said, like that looks like an opportunity to be faded today, whereas Netflix, I mean, if it could just break out, like look at 385 here. It's just like, are we going to sit here and wait for this to go? Like you've got higher lows the whole way through. You have this 385 level from Friday at 11 o'clock, which was essentially the top. And then once, twice, and maybe thrice we'll get a chance at a 385 break on Netflix. But, you know, the volume kind of tapering off here. I think two stocks going in a little bit different directions. Netflix up 1%, showing you a potential triple top break, whereas Disney is to the downside, showing you lower highs and a potential short off 81.25. So yeah, you know, they're not really responding to this news in the same way. Unfortunately for Disney, it looks like right back at those lows. Market trying to hold highs and up 0.1. Disney cannot seem to catch a bid. It's crazy. Like you think at some point Disney is gonna have some kind of a bounce, and every time I think that, it's like, nah, it's still a short. And every single day you come in, if you think that way, you've been right for a very long time.
It's too bad about Netflix because that 440 level, I mean, it's now well in the past, but, you know, that was a good one on the daily. It kept on bouncing off of it right here. And, you know, it spent a couple days above it, 450 and change, but now it's like, pretty pretty nasty move down, man. We broke 4 bills. This is going to have to be traded more by me on the show, just because, well, first of all, a nice move down on Google. We just reloaded that for another move. But yeah, right there, 400. I think as long as we stay underneath 400, we need to continue to look short for this name. So what did it do today? Just real quick. 386.50, so a nice little move early. Okay, so we can look at that as maybe a top coming out later. Let me just zoom this back a little bit more here. Yeah, so again, this kind of, I'm getting like Microsoft feels on this one. It's trying to hover near, I mean, Microsoft maybe takes the bottom, but this one's hovering still above VWAP, just at the 50 period. For me, it's a no trade zone right now. The NASDAQ is just positive. Yeah, so it's coming back in a little bit here. And Netflix is just kind of holding fort. So yeah, for me, no bueno on this one. If anything, it's a long, I would think, right around here, 382.50. So if you like it, wait for 382.50. Maybe there's something to be said about that level.
All right, just wrap things up here with Foot Locker and Nike. I was even seeing this note, including Urban Outfitters in this group today as well. There was 2 or 3 different negative analyst moves on this, pointing to obviously economic headwinds and some overseas headwinds for Nike anyways. But back to the downside here for retailers today anyways.
Yeah, with the credit card debt that we got, the news that we got about that, all-time highs since the financial crisis. It's basically doubled since September 2021 where it troughed out. And so this is likely to affect this type of consumer, the one that spends at Foot Locker and Nike. So we'll see how much they get squeezed or whether they can figure out a different business model. But I think it's going to be tough for these discretionary retailers.
I was just noting some of the bigger names, Home Depot, yours, Walmart, even exactly flat so far today, guys.
Yeah, actually, the one I liked was a breakdown trade, which it was a pretty simple one to put on. I don't think it was that complex. Obviously, it ended up reversing, and that was Foot Locker. I'll start with the daily chart because it gives the idea. Foot Locker, obviously a quadrunk over there in August. It was forming into this 17 support level for a breakdown, so I'm looking for the breakdown through 17 at the open. It flashed through at 9:30 and then came right back, held some pre-market highs. I'm like, okay, if it resolves this pullback into another flush into the bottom, I want to take the breakdown here and just give it to the local high. So you've got about 50 cents to the low there from a 17 break and just looking for a continuity. It didn't. Oddly, would have been a reversal through there. So we got one in. We took our one out. Didn't really fight it. Like once it didn't make sense, oh, this is breaking through the top and wanting to hold that 17 level. The entire thesis is underneath that price, I was looking for a flush. When that doesn't happen, I'm just going to stay away from the stock. So Foot Locker, although not up today, I always say this, obviously from like when the stock is up or down in the day, it gets reflected in most places by the previous close. That doesn't always tell you the story here. Like if we're anybody that's a trader, Foot Locker is up today. I know it's down 0.8%, but Foot Locker was a long. At the end of the day, like its low was at 9:30. It broke out. It's almost from the bottom to top, $1.20 on a $17 stock. Very significant bounce today and a lot of buying in Foot Locker. That Williams-Sonoma, by the way, it's actually relentless right now. It's not doing a ton of volume, but it is very consistently just grinding higher. It's nothing ridiculously explosive since 9:30 or since the open, but it is just very slowly grinding higher. The spread's about 10 cents on it. It's not necessarily like the regular kind of day trading stock we'd have. As a matter of fact, like if you're trading full 100 lots, the spread's 17 pennies on this stock right now. So it's not as if there's anything crazy going on. I would almost think like if it breaks the next level up, maybe you just go for the stair step long. Right now, the support looks like it's at 156, so any long in front of 156, you just kind of sit in it and look for the trend to continue. But you got to keep your ear to the ground because I'm suspecting at any moment they'd be like, there's nothing happening here. Whomever it might be that says they have a stake, like we're not interested in buying more or we're not interested in taking it private, like whatever it might be. If you were to get negative news in this regard, you'd want to make sure you have a stop. But for now, 156 looks like it's holding as a support level. Just watch out for that spread. Very spready stock. It's not your average $150 stock. Like it's not like trading Apple, where if you throw a stop at 156 on Apple, you're getting out at 155.95 at worst. Here, you're probably getting out at least 15 or 20 cents lower than that even dollar if you happen to trade this.
So to me, if we're going to talk about retail, the biggest and the baddest is reporting on September the 26th. So we're talking about tomorrow after market. You're going to look at Costco. And I mean, you know, Costco, and we put a little blurb on this on the weekend. And it's one of the only retail names, especially now that Amazon has, I believe, broken below the 50-period moving average, if not today. Right there, though, that's the NASDAQ. What am I looking at right here? Here's Costco. Right now, just hovering at the 50-period moving average. So, you know, this has been a little bit of a pause for concern for me. You know, on buying it, I want to see what they come out with in their earnings report. I really like Costco because, I mean, we all know why. They have one of the best models, obviously, for retail, and that is where they're just going to charge you every single year to come and shop there. I don't think pilferage is a big, huge effect there at Costco. Maybe. We'll wait to hear what they have to say, but for me, I'm buying Costco. Let's wait to see where it goes. We had some talk similar to this with Daniel Shea about options and stuff like that with Deere, and like positions that you want to get in or are in your longer term portfolios. You maybe want to trade around them with some options, some fly spreads, things like that as you get into their report. So that's hitting tomorrow. And if all goes well, I think, oh no, I think I have Daniel Shea on Wednesday, I think, or maybe tomorrow. I'll find out about that. But Costco, nice little name to get long on any dips. I like the company. I like what they're doing. And join me today, and I'm working on a big crypto guy coming through as well for tonight. So we should have a CMT on crypto coming through tonight. So if you're interested, get ready. I've sort of tweeted it out already, so you can go find that. We're just making sure that we can have Adrian come on tonight. So should be a little, you know, a fun talk about BTC and everything there tonight, but that has nothing to do with Costco. I just, looking at retail, man, no Foot Locker for this guy. Although, you know, if you see the shoe collection, you would think that I'd be supporting Foot Locker, but let's just wait to, which I am, but let's just wait.
Did you buy online?
If the, yeah, so I just bought.
I was gonna say, like, you don't go into Foot Locker.
No, but I don't go into the Foot Locker store.
Oh, but you still,
Yes,
okay,
so I
you
just
use their-
spent,
okay.
yeah, so I just spent a couple $100 on my 11-year-old back to school clothing and stuff like that. And honestly, it's a good thing Neil brought that up, because that was my point, is that here's my kids, by the way. That's an old picture. But
That's really old.
yeah, that's probably
was gonna say,
7 or 8 years old at least.
Looks like he's 7.
Toronto Raptors close to getting Damian Lillard.
Yeah, Dame, baby.
So that'll be good. What time is it? Dame time.
I'm feeling that. I don't know about you, but
go.
I don't know about you,
Scotty
but I'm feeling it.
Barnes.
Unless you have Scotty Barnes in your fantasy league, you're probably is a Raptors
No, I think that's
fan.
good for Scotty Barnes, honestly.
In fantasy, he gets less usage. I'm talking.
No, but more boards. I think more dimes if he has Lillard there.
I think Dame to the Raptors. Let's
Depends
go.
what we got to give up, man. Are we
Let's-
going to give up little Gary Trent Jr.?
That's always the
first
question.
round pick?
That's always the question.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be. Not for Dame.
But he's a star. He's a
No
star.
questions necessary.
He's a star, man.
The only problem is that he's refused. Remember, he refused to sign. This is the problem with the NBA. You know, it's our show. We'll just
There's
keep
a
doing
few
this
problems
as long
with
as we
it.
want. No, we got to go to Brendan.
It's kind of on topic. It's Foot
It is
Locker.
on topic. We're talking about Foot Locker. Good. Okay, good. So we got that figured out. No, I feel like he's got to pull back on that talk that he only wants to sign with Miami.
Oh yeah,
Because we don't want a rental player here, because that's been a problem for Toronto with the NBA signing guys longer term.
you can party here too, Dame.
So hopefully he can. Oh no, once he comes here, I mean,
You're like,
you
people
know.
come to people come to Toronto and they realize, oh yeah, it's pretty fly here. Like you don't see people complaining about it, man. Like this
no.
is a great city.
No, everyone likes it, man.
Come on, Dame.
Caravana.
Rob's over here like, what about Kawhi Leonard? Kawhi just wanted to play at home. It is what it is.
But that's what I mean. That's why we need to avoid that Kawhi Leonard situation.
Yeah.
again, right. So
That said, we also won a championship. Kawhi came here and won a championship, and it's a bit of a legend.
I know Brendan for sure knows who Kawhi Leonard is. So let's go hear some business.
Do. I can also confirm. I can also confirm, Sean. Thursday for Danielle Shea. Thursday recap show. Danielle Shea will be on. She is busy on vacation, but anyways, the rundown, guys, brought to you by Trade Ideas. See what's moving in the moment with Trade Ideas. They're great. New web version allows you to pull up whatever stock you would like. Apple with 2 A's, not 3, for example. You get live charts, delayed data, unless you sign up for an account, but live charts that can expand to full screen. Tons of really cool data. Don't zoom in on your actual browser. just zoom in on the actual charts. But you get the breakdown, financials, significant financials, any news, noteworthy news stories down here as well for the web app version of Trade Ideas. Trader TV 20, as always, gets you 20% off. Shout out to our friends over at Trade Ideas. And good news, Michael Noss has been located after his trip to Vegas on the weekend.
All right.
That's correct. Mr. Noss, the funny thing about it is, should we have really expected him? He was in Vegas, man. You think he's going to be ready for the Monday morning? Not if he's doing it right. And
I would be.
I would be. Right.
I would be going hard and be ready.
I don't think he's been there before. I mean, he's also the lumberjack out in Vegas, so we'll be happy to have him back.
He's going to have fun.
I'm sure, yeah. I'm sure he'll have
Was he coming tomorrow morning then, maybe? No. Okay.
Brendan just gave it no.
Brendan's like, no.
Which is interesting. I mean, I don't know. Whenever it's like a holiday on Monday, he won't come in on Tuesday.
He'll be back. I'm going to have him on the after
It'll be
recap show on
fine.
Friday for sure. That's a long time from now.
We look forward to him, but just a couple things. The market, if you're looking at what's going on in the NASDAQ, let's set the stage, because I think when you're trading in the afternoon, we said this before, when you're in this kind of a range, and this is not new territory, right? Essentially, you're holding this 40 to 50 handle range here on the NASDAQ, 14.88. We're not even getting to the 14. Like at noon, we got to 14.93. Since then, it's actually lower highs. So it's been tightening the range up more and more as we get into the afternoon. Just one update from me. I took a fill underneath VWAP on CGC, just hit 93. It's still technically holding support from the morning at 90, so I'm going to get some out in front of the 90 level and then see where it goes from there. I'm still in that Lee Auto. I do have one long position, and this was a flip from a short to a long because I was short when Intel was weak, and I don't know, in some ways it still is, but underneath 34 I was short, and above 34 in VWAP I've been long. It's still holding a 15 to 20 cent range here. The last time I was able to get some 34.15s out, but it's not really breaking out either. So scalp trading off the 34. I'm not on the bid. I want to see it get under VWAP and show the bid at 34. Then we'll try to go into that long at that point. The other name that was moving, we talked about this at lunch time for lunch money. It's close to VWAP. We haven't really gotten that test of $8 on AMC, up 7.5%. So the apes have actually been in charge today, believe it or not. At one point, this stock was up 10%. Not so much anymore, but you can see it pulling back. If it can hold here, ideally VWAP would be nice, but there's nothing wrong with, zoom out there, simply finding support off previous resistance, which is what it looks like will be happening if you can bounce off 810 here, 810, 815. So AMC is on the radar for that little bit of a dip buy here off the 810 to 815 area. Looking pretty decent, but as Intel goes up, if we're scalping the range, you need to have orders if you're going to get filled. So when they get some orders out in the teens, as long as we're hanging out in the range, it should be fantastic. Ooh, did I miss the test? Yeah, I did. Renata, good look on the Tesla long. I know, but I didn't actually take it.
I mean, you got to take it, right? I mean, that's the thing is it's a good...
I actually thought I bid this. Maybe I missed the bid.
We're getting close right now to getting stopped out on everything. So the market is making a move higher. We talked about where it was. It went the other way. I thought we could drift down, but instead we're drifting up. And again, in order to prevent any slippage or anything, we have our outs. So we have our out ready to go on Google. It's very, very close, man. 131, a little higher than that, and we'll slip out of that. But we're short at 92 right here, so no need to panic. If it does come back down, we'll get something out, and then we'll just rearrange it. We already have our stops, and then again, very, very close right now as well to getting stopped out. I'm going to change this stop out just a little bit higher into the 20s a little bit because we were right here at the high of the day, so very, very close to getting stopped out of AMD. We would have been stopped out right now, taking 15s because that was the high. Let's give it a little more room now, trying to go a little bit higher. Okay, but now I have confirmation. We will be having, and I just tweeted this out as well, over 650,000 followers right now. We're going to have Adrian come through. It's going to be great. We're going to talk all about, actually, he has an interesting article that he's talking about right now that he's ready to talk, BTC seasonality. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that with Adrian coming up. And again, a CMT that's into crypto. Sounds good to me, right? So let's get some realistic expectations here. What does it look like on the charts? How are we going to trade that? Join me today at 4 o'clock when we'll keep the hits on coming, man. Join us, me and Adrian, today to see all about crypto winter, seasonality, and whatnot. That's going to be coming through. I'm really happy to make that announcement as, again, you know, we keep on growing the community. I mean, this is what it's about, right? It's about giving you guys a different flavor maybe of guests, you know, different questions. We brought Chris, we brought Danielle, we brought Michael, we brought Brian Shannon, who wrote that book on AVWAP as well. So yeah, man, we're ready to rock and roll, and we're entering sort of the world of crypto here today. We had Crede on talking all about trader psychology as well. Man, that was a good one. We had Miss Cat on talking all about her 4 investments that she has. That was a lot of fun as well. Okay, here comes Google right now.
Meta's at 300.
Yeah, okay. So see that this pullback's happening right now. I just
Gimme.
What did I just do there? Oh, okay. We took a piece out. We had a bid at 90 there, which is not great. There it is, running through us, 86s. Here we go. Nice little. Here we go. Hopefully, we can go into the gates of hell now, as this market can pull back just a little bit. There it is. Nice little pullback into the 80s again. And we are just very, very close to getting stopped out, right? We talked about that position. We're short now at 94. Our stop out is in the O's. So it's about a dime worth of risk that we're taking. So if we can get a dime back right now when the market is making this kind of a move, that makes me pretty happy. Let's see if we can get that right now on the market. So next play for me is AMD. So we just went short there. A pullback to VWAP is Yahoo. I don't know if that's going to happen. Pullback to the 50 period is 86. The 200 is 75. Hey, Randy.
And Randy is in the building. I'm back
up,
in.
Randy?
I yelled out 300 on Meta. It just wicked it, so I'm back into it. I'm going to give it to this local high here. I had this wick. I'll get rid of it in a second. But the 300 level has been resistance all afternoon. Randy, is Tesla going to break 250 today? No. This week? Okay. That's random.
I've been liking PayPal for
That's
a minute,
random.
and I've been liking PayPal for a minute.
It's better than Square.
Well, what do you like about PayPal? Is the mic on over here? What do you like about PayPal, man? Here, I'm going to call up the PayPal chart. Come over to my screen real quick. Let's just look this thing up. We've been talking about PayPal for a minute. I don't know if Randy likes the long or the short.
The short.
The short, okay. I was going to say, because you're right here pushing bottoms again.
Lots of volume.
Okay, yeah, lots of volume coming in. Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
Up today, though, so a little bit counter trend trading.
Play the dips. Play the dips.
What about Square?
Haven't followed Square.
Yeah, okay.
The dumpster fire.
So why don't you like PayPal? Just because of Apple Pay? Because of...
Where uses it?
But you don't like PayPal, you say?
No, I use it.
Oh, you like PayPal?
Yeah.
Oh, you like it
You
for
still
the
use it?
long.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot? Like,
No, no.
I
Just
thought he said he
enough.
like the short.
I feel like I still use it, but literally for like a few things that I've just forgotten to move to something else.
Well, I use it on eBay. You buy stuff.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You know, but it's handy.
Okay,
It's
so
a
you like
stalwart.
PayPal for the long.
It's a stalwart. All right.
Okay, is Tesla accepting pay? They accept payment from PayPal, I assume. Why not? Why wouldn't they? You know?
Coffee?
Yes, 1 milk, please, my fine friend.
No afternoon coffee for me. But thank you very much, Randy, with PayPal.
I thought first you liked the short there.
Well, that's what I was. I thought he was
I
going to
like
go
the long too.
that
so,
route too.
Friend of mine over there.
I don't know where the bottom's going to be. Like, with both, the only thing I will say is if I had to pick one, the chart's telling you that PayPal is better than Block.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm pretty sure about. It's just both of those. I don't know where. Like, there has to be a bottom soon for these. You shouldn't say. We really shouldn't talk that way because nothing has to happen in this world. It's just when I see what's going on with Block, it's like, where is the bloody bottom here? It's touched 45. As a matter of fact, I don't know, was it 45 today? Maybe.
What was?
No, Block, because it's holding 45 actually.
You and I talked about that off air there.
Look at the 45 level today. We shouldn't be talk myself into this. Look at, this isn't that bad. Wipeout bottom, fresh low, holds Friday's close, higher low here at 45. But it's at the quarter. It's not like it's at 45 right now. So I mean, it has to get back down here. If we're going to be range bound, what's wrong with the 45 scalp trade on Block? That actually does look solid. So I'm not saying the bottom is in on Block. However,
Are you saying the bottom is in on Block?
I'm
or?
not saying the bottom is in on
Okay.
Block. However, the long, if you can get something underneath 45.10, does look like a good scalp trade. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock that one in. Throw a couple
Get down,
bids
Google.
down there.
Get down.
Just in case the market comes down and picks me up. I think the risk to reward is pretty good. As I said, I think we're hopefully coming to the downside here when we take this top end of the range. And I just got into some meta off the 300 level. Let's see if I can't add some in the 90s. Taking care of business, is that a bear or bull flag on which? Are we talking about block?
It's both.
Well, specifically, and then I did the whole thing where I just,
Crashed your chart.
no, it's NASDAQ. It's a New York name because I was on Meta, I hit enter, and so block is on the NASDAQ. No, this is a bull flag on Square. But, again, you can look at on the 15-minute chart, okay, you've got yourself a bull flag. And then we zoom out to the daily chart, and you've got an absolute dumpster fire setup. So it's not as if, like, I'm not sitting here telling you, you can go to any time frame you want and tell the story that you want. I just think if you look at the range, I see a scalp level off the 45 until proven otherwise. So if we get a push back down, I'm looking for 299. Let me just get a bit out there. On Meta, Intel, got to worry about the long here back into 34. I did not reload it. I want fills underneath VWAP if it's going to base out again. Again, tight range in there, but the new trade for me was the Meta short. We'll see where it can go. AMAT is falling apparently, Manuel says.
Yeah, thank you, my
You
guy.
got your coffee.
Thank you, Randy. Oh, yeah, by the way, if you say to a stock, like in an Arnold voice, like, get down or get to the chopper,
Debo.
stuff like that, then you have this move. And there it is right now. So you just kind of like got to like threaten the stock a little bit and see if it works out. So we did that, and it is a hell of a trade right now. So we'll go into gates of hell for some of these plays. And again, it's all we're kind of doing. It's not a hell of a trade. The market's not doing anything. But again, some top picks right there. Bring it back in. It's 244. And yeah, we're going to get in the chopper with some of these as it can coming to the downside. So we're going to wait to see where it goes. But for right now, we've scalped out about half of it. It's just a matter of playing the percentages, right? I mean, nobody knows where we're going to go, and that's why we consider ourselves risk managers here as day traders, because you need to put on the right amount of shares at the right time on the right names, and you could be wrong. But it's, can you get out of your mistakes? Do you have an out? You know, have you looked at an out? I mean, I for one, do not even take a trade until I have an out. It just sucks when those outs are filled and then it moves the other way. But hey,
Cost of doing business.
remember, exactly, it's a cost of doing business. Remember when we raised, remember when we would have got stopped out on AMD if I didn't change my stop? Well, guess what? Now AMD's print factory to the downside, and we have the short because we changed our stop. It was just too close to that high of the day, and we could watch the time in sales, and that's, to me, is the benefit about being able to read tape. Like, that's how I started, was just tape reading. Like, I've been here 22 years and just reading the tape, trying to find the best opportunities, watching the supply and demand going through, watching momentum on a level 2 and things like that. So when you see different things start to dry up, it's easy to get out and pull your orders. And we've made some mistakes. I mean, that's the one thing about being a trader is you're always wrong. You're never right. I mean, you can make a great play, but then you didn't have enough shares, or you took it out too early, or you did something else. I mean, I don't know. We can go on and on.
These guys are all Arnold right now.
Of course they're all Arnold. That's what we're doing, man. This is called, we're creating that content for you.
Who is your daddy and what does he do? That's the one. That's, I mean, to me, Kindergarten Cop is like one of those just low-key, undercover Arnold comedies that it's so ridiculous when you watch it. That is, you watch that movie again, oh man, it's just like, it's twice
it's so
as,
old.
It's twice as funny now because I feel like some of the jokes, like the kids in that are off the chain hilarious. It's not a tumor. Anyways, I'm going to get this one out of the way before anybody keeps asking about Arnaz. It was crazy this morning. I'm not saying, it's not done, by the way, because actually it's holding VWAP at the $2 level. I think if you're looking for any kind of a trade here, it's not completely ridiculous to say the last halt down held $1.80, so any long off 2 to $1.80 risks potentially, I say potentially 25 cents, because if 180 breaks, the notion that you're going to get no slippage, to me, is insane. You're going to get some slippage there, but it's not that bad. If you get something in front of VWAP, 180 looks like a support level there, and maybe you shoot the moon for this one, it can get back to the highs. Again, to me, you're shooting the moon. That just, I guess, I don't know if anybody plays euchre, like you're taking a big risk, right? Like you're looking for the home run, like shooting the moon is going for it all. That's what you're doing with an RNAS. But to be able to do that off 180 with a $2 entry is not that bad. I think that's actually pretty reasonable. Not to say that I'm on the bid, but it's not often with those crazy high flyers that you find yourself with a really easy opportunity or good relative risk to reward opportunity there. As I just stepped up the bid on Meta here to the mid 20s to see if I can get some out on the way down to 299. Looks like the market is still playing the range-bound game, and if that's going to be the case, then we want to take advantage of it. If we get to VWAP, it has not been able to break VWAP, so you want to ring the register on any pullback you get. Note the upward trend, so you have a 300 top, you have a 298 bottom. At one point during lunch, it was a 99 top with a 98 bottom. So to even say 98 is the bottom, that was at 1 o'clock. So that was the dollar range in there for most of lunchtime. Since it broke up, it's potentially a dollar range 99 to 300, and then that's what you want to grab. So just take what the market gives you in this case, and I think you'll be fine. CGC's not doing anything. Jam Lossy asking how the DXY, how high could the DXY go? I'm not going to hear, I can't give you a prediction on the US dollar. I'm not a currency trader. That said, a lot of the reasons for its strength, I think, could continue. Just look what's going on in Japan, right? So smarter people than me have been saying it could easily go a lot higher from here, and what's going on in Japan has a lot to do with it. But we'll see what happens. Realistically, I think I care more about what goes on. We were talking about the VIX on Friday. It's just like, hey man, if we start hanging past that 20 level, I might care a lot more about that for some excitement than what goes on in the USD. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Looks like we had a decent out there on Meta because we just bounced off 299 and are headed right back into 300. So just going to rinse and repeat this one off the 300 level, take advantage of what the market gives us. I do not want to completely ignore. We call Apple the biggest and the baddest, but I feel like that's just because the size of the company, not always the size of the moves. So if you hear us say that, it's because Apple's the biggest company. It has nothing to do with whether it's going to move the most, but it is just chilling on VWAP. So this is the chart of Apple. There's your morning high. There is the breakout. Now it's on that high. If we take this to the downside, the shorts should print. If we can't hold on to VWAP, if Apple can't hold on to VWAP here, that's the kind of thing that can cause a channel to break down. So the one long I have Intel, I probably don't reload it. If Apple is underneath VWAP, I don't think it makes any sense. Just let the shorts work here. Salvo saying cart can't break 30. You know, I didn't do that trade today, which is wild. Like I had the short this morning, was on it, it broke out the local high, and then didn't bother taking the short back in, which was a huge mistake. Because look at what Cart did, Instacart. If you just stick with it, once it got back underneath 30, it flushed into 29. Now you've got a barcode at the 30 level in the other direction. And if you're wondering what I mean, this is the 30 level the last couple of sessions. Like it was support, support, support. Right now it's looking like local resistance. But there's no size there. There's 700 shares on the offer at 30, and it can't break 30. So that's an iceberg order, right? Like that's an order. There's more sellers behind that 700 shares. Like it gets there, it's not going to print with just 700 shares buying. It's going to probably take a few thousand at least. So, I mean, to me, the play there would be to go for the short, maybe give it not an even dollar stop, like throw the stop 5 cents higher, give it a reasonable risk level. But I'm looking to short right back up at 300 on Meta first. It's not a bad play. I might get on here. Not that bad. I mean, the problem here is you're going to get some slippage if it breaks. That's why I say maybe have the stop at 5 or 10 and just expect that slippage and hold for a bigger winner.
All right. Meanwhile, guys, we've been riding the bear for a little bit there. I mean, I like that one. Where's the other one? This is the one I like. More, I guess I was going to say more violent, but it's the same roar at the end of that one. But I like that one as well. So there it is, man. A couple covers down at the bottom. We took the 200 period. So all we've done so far on the show live with you guys, if you're looking for some trades, I mean, we shorted Google once, made the money, right? That's when we first came on the air. Then shorted it again just 15 minutes ago. Made that money again, 97. Where are we short here? Is this, no, this is AMD. It doesn't matter, it's the same trade. We're short both of these. But anyways, short 97 there, short 97, now down to 96.70. So we just gave, and we broke it down, right? It was gonna be 10 cents higher than this. So about a 10 to 15 cents worth of risk there to make 30. So that's so far so good, 3 to 1. And then here's the other trade that I was discussing. We took the Google just on right when we came on. And then again right now as Google trying to drip lower. And sort of what the rhetoric for me behind all of this was the same kind of thing again, was just, are we going to retrace to VWAP? or are we going to head back to the high of the day? Now, we got scared there because we almost got stopped out of a couple of these positions, but we did not. And then that move happened back down into the downside. So that's where some of the cover starts, right? And we're out of half pretty much now of both of these trades. So hopefully a nice downside move will continue here into the close. Let's just check out on, again, my worst stock of the day is going to be NIO. And it's funny because all of that happened within the first 5 minutes, and it was just getting carried away. Took 8. We stood in front of 8 early, went right there when there was 1 million shares on the bid. It took that milli, went down. We got out pretty soon. We actually held it a bit against us, but it came back out and we got some 97s and 98s out there. Maybe, yeah, 97, 98. Okay, perfect. And then we went long. No, we did not go long, sorry. We went short again. That's these purples right there. We went short again and then got out when it took 10s. So we got thrown around a little bit there on NIO, and that's creating a negative feel for that stock. The TQs. So my number one name today, although it's probably going to be Google by the time this trade is done, is the NASDAQ itself. So we started shorting the triple Qs here. And again, this was a monster short that came in for us, and it was a great, well, for me, and it was a great move there back in. So that was a good one. Then we went short again, and we were tweeting this out, and we got out there. Look at some of these out. So that's 95, out there 75, so not great. And then stopped out once it took 8 cents higher to the upside. So again, nice risk to reward, but I'm not super happy with these last reloads because it just didn't continue to go down. And now we'll stay away. We only really want to trade the market if we're at sort of the highs or lows of the market. So we're not going to stay away for that right now. We are watching out for the RSI here again. Like you could see, got a little high there, shorted it, was into the pocket again right there. We actually planted our order, hoping that we would get that move up, and we got it. Okay, AMD, so you want to do this again? All right, so here comes AMD right back in. We just took another fill just right there on AMD. It's not going to get much smoother than this, man. Again, 10 cents worth of risk to capture 30. We'll try to do that every day. Harder said, easier said than done, for sure. But for now, it's a nice move down to the downside. We are getting all locked and loaded. We do have a big recap show coming today. Adrian, the crypto burb, coming through later on today. Here he is right now. Man, what's up with the beard game? I'll have to see.
Moss or Adrian? Because that's
Moss, Adrian, or
I actually think Adrian's beard might take Michael, to be honest with you.
I think it will, but then I'm also very impressed.
If that's what it looks like right now.
Yeah, I'm also very impressed with Mr. Barbado.
Oh, Luis, that was another one. We hadn't seen Luis in.
He's always had it, but he's a good beard game as well.
I feel like he was growing that during.
And then eventually, when Sharif grows it back within this week, I told him, I was like, grow your beard back, bro.
You can see already. You can already see
so he's gonna try to do that. Well, I don't know if he is going to try. He said he's not, so I should say he's not.
Well, he's got the shadow.
Okay,
already.
Here we go.
By the way, just a new position alert.
Fail. There we go. Slap the fail.
New position alert because you can't ignore stock that's up 5% into this market, which is dead flat, and that's going to be ARM. It's going to very quickly go over the key level. We showed this morning. So it shouldn't be completely new, but we said wait. If it was either a 50 break, you can see 50 never happened. Go right back into last week. This is a local high at 54.5, 255, support there as well. So the second it shows me the wick at previous resistance, that's the only place I want to play the curl. So we just grabbed ARM in here now. There is the monster wick up. Broke 54, rejected at that level from last week, and now I'm looking for, I don't even think VWAP makes any, it doesn't have to be VWAP. If it gets to 53.5, we take some out as well, and then down to that 53 level, but right back into just looking for relative weakness here. I was starting with CART. Obviously, that didn't exactly set up, but ARM, that'll work as well. Meta, obviously, coming back into the downside. I think we could see that 298, so we shorted the Meta 300. Now I like ARM. As to why ARM is up 5% when the market's flat, I don't know. I really don't know. It's the valuation doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, 100 PE, the market's dead flat. Why are people buying ARM en masse today? It makes absolutely no sense. I can't think of a time when everybody's not the right way to say it, but I don't recall reading any experts or analysts touting the valuation is making sense on ARM. It seemed like everybody felt exactly the same way about this, which was that it's overvalued. So why it would be up 5% on a day when AMAT's getting destroyed, when ASML's on the lows, when Micron was having a bad day, when the market's dead flat. Again, it doesn't make sense to me, but it doesn't have to make sense. You just wait for it to get to a key level. If I thought it was a long today, I would have played that 50 level for a long. As a matter of fact, I was sitting there with a stop order to go short if that broke 50. And thankfully, that never filled, because I feel like that would have been a trap. But the short's on now. Let's see what will happen. Taking care of business. They have to push it higher so they can get exit liquidity for themselves. Didn't they get enough exit liquidity trapping people above 60 bucks on this thing? Greed, man. I don't know. Maybe. But there was plenty of exit liquidity up there. Whether this can actually press back through. Now remember, 55 is also the open high. Like it opened at 56.10 with a bottom that day of like 55.5. So it's got resistance up there too. Even if this top breaks, I'm short again off that 55.5. So ARM shorts, stick with it. Tisha asking if we can go over VACC. I have not looked at that stock, so just give me.
Vacuum?
I don't even know what it is. So
No, neither do I.
yeah, like it might be vacuum. I don't know. VACCI Tech. That's the name of the company. It's up 100% on 32 million volume.
It's only up 100%, not bad.
Actually, this isn't like it's not the best looking daily chart, but it's not like the worst either. Okay, we'll have to check the catalyst on here, but I can tell you, okay, it already broke out big levels on the daily. $6 looks pretty interesting. And there's definitely some volume in this. Like 30 million volume, and I did not notice this one today. It has one halt on it, so I'd respect, like that previous halt price, like 360s turned into a bit of a resistance zone, so it needs to get back above that. Sometimes halt prices matter like that,
yep.
and this one can't seem to hold above that price. The second it's holding bids, call it above 380, maybe it's a breakout, giving it back to the 360 area, something like that. But the volume, not bad here, so it is worth a look.
They got a rating there from Brendo, it looks like.
Okay,
from
yeah.
Alliance Global Partners, $12 price target.
That's not bad from 3.
It's all right, it's all right. So yeah, that's good little level there to watch out for. And again, sometimes you got to make sure that you double check all the sources and stuff like that, because like Alliance Partners, Alliance Global Partners, I've never heard of them per se. So watch out for that. But we're just bringing you all the news as it happens. And thank you, Tisha, for that. I mean, we're going to try to cover everything here. I mean, right now, I've already explained my whole sort of situation, and that is that we're going to wait for the best trades, and when they set up, and then we're going to be there to hopefully pounce on them. We had Google to the short side, we had AMD to the short side, both now 40 cents in the money. So those have been good ones, but doesn't mean we're done. Let's just have a check. Obviously not. It's only 3 o'clock. Welcome everybody to the hour of power and the markets recap. I was trying to do this, but
oh my God,
we got squashed by the markets recap. Hey, when we're ready, man, we can talk about that. Let's talk about it maybe when we get that graphic going. Ramin's probably working on that right now. We will have Adrian coming, the Crypto Burb, over 650,000 subscribers on his channel alone. We're going to talk about seasonality of Bitcoin. We're going to talk about anything about crypto that he wants to go over, man. We're here for that. And I know there's a lot of crypto holders and stuff. So join me at 4 o'clock, and we will go over all of that. How was it on Friday? I saw it was you and Brendo there.
Yeah, it was
recap show.
It's a lot of fun doing it. I feel like that was one of those days where there was a lot to go over in terms of like the week was so.
Oh yeah, that's right. The week in review.
Like the week was so like I don't know, is bad the word?
Yeah.
I mean, like, in terms of the market sentiment,
horrible.
It wasn't a good week for the market. That's why today maybe a little bit. It was hard not to have a bearish feeling the way the market ended last week. So there was a lot that we needed to go over because I feel as if some of the shorts, if you looked at last week, they did come pretty easily. There's a lot of people asking this morning, like, oh, well, why were you favoring this short and that short? Well, I mean, if you took the approach of looking for the short to pop situations, you saw the 15,000 level on Friday, that's just something you're going to do. And then today, that same approach, which worked so well last week, is not going to work today. And that's just how it is sometimes, and that's fine. You're willing to play that trend when it's working for you, and the trend is coming back. And by the way, that flat bottom on coin, it's breaking right now. It's weird that you mentioned crypto, but 71 and VWAP is actually breaking on Coinbase as we speak.
Yeah, it's because we have so much power over cryptocurrencies market.
But it was right as you were saying.
Yeah, no. So look, man, again, let's go. I mean, this is what we're doing. This is the whole point of the show, right? Is to give you guys hopefully winning trades, explain to you why we're in them. If they work out, great. And I mean, here's another one. Here is
another one.
Right? All right, it's enough. Okay, so right there, man, AMD, we've already talked about it. It's a nice move to the downside. There it is. We just took 50 cents on that play. So now that's 50 cents in the money, as is Google. And we took many more outs on Google. Google's a strong name, looking to go red. That's fine. Remember when we predicted this? Again, like, you know, crystal ball, we don't have it, wish we did. But it's been a nice move to the downside right now. We said there's more likely to go to VWAP than upside, and that's exactly what it did, and it took VWAP down to the downside. So hey man, as long as we still got a breath, we're gonna be here every single day, so make sure that you join us every single day, and make sure you like and subscribe.
Hola. Like and subscribe today.
Because the thing is, you don't want to miss any of this, right? We're going to have a lot of fun here. Like Neil said, man, the closing show was a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll have another big one today. We had a Dara today as well.
Great
big one.
segment.
We have, yeah, it's not even just going to be a segment, man. She's going to host.
It's going to be bigger.
That midday show.
We've already talked about this. It's going to be bigger, and I love the fact that all the support that was in the channel, in the chat, was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. So we worked a while to make sure that we got it right.
Dude, Obi put in work.
Hopefully we could do it. Yeah, Obi ain't going anywhere. It's Max is the guy that we can't find. So shout out.
You know what we need?
We know where Obi is. We know where Adara
We need a
is.
where's Max, like where's Waldo.
It may not matter soon enough, but hopefully
Man
he
in the
comes
middle,
back
the man in the
very,
middle
very
of Peru, wherever it is. I'm taking the breakdown. This is actually a lunch money trade. CGC, I'll get to in a second, which was another lunch money trade. But Coinbase, sometimes it takes a while to set up. We said this could be an afternoon style play, like breaking this double bottom. Okay, it's a double bottom on like a 3-minute chart, but you know, obviously it's taking out VWAP as well. So I'm into the short on Coinbase. Just going back over to CGC, I said the next stop would be 90. So I took one out 91s and 90 as well. This was another lunch money, fail break of $1. It tried to hold it a couple of times, willing to have the tight stop, and then it stair steps to the downside. The cannabis names were all strong, well, most of them were strong this morning, at least the ones that I looked at, and pulling back a little bit. But it's that dollar fail that was interesting to me, that level of $1 failure price. So short VWAP here, underneath VWAP on Coinbase. We'll see what happens. I mean, the market has broken channel down. So to me, that's a place where you might want to enter a new short. As I said, ARM working, Meta working. Oh, Apple was the other. We said if Apple couldn't hold on to VWAP, Apple doesn't hold on to VWAP. So, you know, hold on to your shorts. I have one long position, and I just got another one because Square, remember that 45 in Square? I had Intel already at that 34 level, so that's not new. I've hit NASDAQ again for block. But I know, it's hilarious. Like, it's the last stock, essentially, it's the last stock I look at as a NASDAQ stock, and I just type the symbol and hit enter. Sometimes it'll default to the same thing I was looking at before. But Square is holding on to this 45. I just grabbed some 08s. We looked at this and said, hey, if you've got like 4 bottoms here at the 45 level and it's giving you minimum 30-cent bounces, 25 to 30 pennies, sometimes a little bit more than that, if the market wants to hold on, not a bad level. I know I'm wrong right underneath that 45. So it's about 10 cents worth of risk. I know what the slippage will be on Square, and that's pretty minimal here. So I am into that one. It's a very similar trade to Intel, where I'm long just off that 34 level. But for everything else, new position was the short trade. If something's still in the range, I think it's worth the shot, but if it's breaking out of it, I'd rather be looking for the short to continue to the downside like we're doing with Coinbase here.
All right. I mean, we're continuing to bleed. So, you know, so far so good. A little bit upset with myself that we're not back into the market because we did make this sort of call that this was going to happen. But the thing is, we essentially shorted the market, right? We shorted AMD and we shorted Google. We could have, it's too bad that we continuously got stopped out of Microsoft. Not continuously, it was just really this time because we made the money back. But right there got stopped out. Just honestly, like we got stopped out at 317. The highest it went was 317.20. Oh man, and this is what we talk. I mean, we'll talk about this. I'll talk about it too. It's like sometimes you pick the right levels and sometimes you don't. And right there, I feel comfortable picking 317. I mean, I could have leveled up and gone up here 317.70, but again, if you're going to trade even just a few hundred shares, I'm not, I don't want to hold that all the way up here. And so some people will, man. Some people, like, instead of trading a few hundred shares, you could trade tens of shares and hold it for bigger moves, bigger stop outs, things like that. And that's why we say it's more important to understand, the methods and why we're talking like this, why we're looking at certain names, so that, and one of the big questions I always get is like, how do you build the sticky node and why do you do it and things like that. Those are the right questions. It's not about like what positions we're in now, it's why are we in those positions? It's why are you taking some out? To me, that is the important question to ask, and I want to thank everybody for continuously to ask those, because that's why we continuously look at the chat to see about new names. Is there a new idea that one of you have that Neil and I could look at and justify a position in? And then hopefully,
It's funny you say that.
hopefully it matches the same thing that you guys are thinking about. What do you think about that psilocybin stuff?
I was just asked in the chat about Cybin, which is dual listed, by the way. So this trades on the CSC, I want to say, in Canada, and then the Amex in the US. Let me make sure I got that right. I don't want to misstate that.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, it's the CBOE in Canada that it trades underneath,
Okay,
and then the
don't-
Amex
just
here
make sure this-
in the US market. So yeah, I was just asked, do I like this stock? Any penny stock which is showing you like a really, really obvious level I like, right? And I don't think it gets any more obvious than about this 65, 66 level on Cybin. So going all the way back to October of last year, 65 once, then that's like 62, 65 again, 65 today. Now, in Catalyst can matter, but when you see something like this, now if I had seen this stock 30 minutes ago, you can pretty much, exactly, I would be, there is your top at 65, there is my short at 64, there is my out once at 63, and then there's VWAP. Like, that's an easy one. But you got to move on to the next. If it can hold on to the 60, which is the breakout price, I think you got resistance at 65 even, and you play off that level. That's as easy. I mean, that's super, super easy. If it holds 60 today, I mean, even, if it holds even like 58 to 59, closes above that price, I think a potential breakthrough 65 looks pretty good tomorrow as well. Monster breakout potential level, but it has to break through 65. That's an easy short if you're looking at that 65. It's not the same thing as shorting $1 because it's $1 on CGC, but it's not completely dissimilar to what I liked about the ARM trade, which is like allow it to get to the level, and then fade off of that level there we go. Like, allow it to get to that level, play the fade off of resistance. It never comes to the 55, but since it failed, and the key thing about ARM is it failed the 55 level, right? And that was that opening support level on the very first day. And once it was underneath that, where is the first resistance when it failed that day? Right at 54.5. And that was the first resistance level put in, so you wait for it to get to there. It does the old wick top, which is a failed breakout at 54, trapping longs on a double top break, and then look to short it. That's the same thing if you're looking at that 65. Allow that failed break to get you in. What are we thinking for Apple? The trend is your friend? I mean, I don't know. Apple, it's weird. Like, I elected to get into shorts when this broke down, but the trend is your friend. I think you short VWAP. 70, even if 75 holds, that's not the level I want. Like, 74 is the big support level on Apple. So 75 is a round number. 74, if you're just going back to last week, I zoomed out a little bit too far. That means 74 has been the support level for Apple. I think you're diddling in the middle here at 75. I think play the trend. If you want to go long Apple, I wait till 74 at least, if not 73.5. Somewhere in that range has been support. Everything else is looking like a short. Like, I just added Coin, and that was at the same time. Coin broke VWAP, Apple broke VWAP. The market broke channel support. All those reasons, I thought those were all like short entries. Like, there's your flat bottom break on Coin. I just realized I got to get some bids out there in the mid 70s to make sure that we capture some profit on the way down.
Shit at you. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I was looking at Disney again, trying to break through some of that bottom. I'm trying to read the chat here, see if there's anything that you guys want to talk about one more time. Oh, I know we just didn't talk about cannabis too much once again, but CGC.
Can I buzz?
It did. Yes. Yeah, cannabis. See, that was another MC back like in the 90s.
Right?
It was literally a guy named Cannabis. Anyways,
He was legit.
He went up in smoke real quick there.
I mean, he had a couple hits. No, he had a couple.
Yeah, some hit. Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
The chat probably has no idea.
They
who
may.
it is.
They may. Some guys would know. We'll see. But anyways.
Okay, Kevin G.
There we go. Yeah, they know some of this. Right there. Okay.
Faraday 3. No.
Oh yeah, there it is right there. So there's the dollar break. So remember, sometimes not all trades are treated the same. You do get a dollar break right there on CGC, and then it comes right back in. So again, like I feel like we all got quite a gift, to be honest with you. If you're able to get long cannabis down here like at CGC, down here at 80 cents, I like that trade. I said I feel like this bottom, and again, are these, the real fear is that they're literally, as my kids say, Dad, literally going bankrupt. And I think that, someone will come in, even if they do, and again, this is just for my own trading, you guys take the risk if you want. I just feel like even if it gets down here, I feel like they'll get bought out on pennies on the dollar. So I'm not sure what exactly those pennies on a dollar is. I mean, if you go long at 40 cents, how much can you lose? The answer is everything. It's not, there is no, going long at 40 cents and getting out at 20 cents is the same as going long at $100 and getting out at $50, right? I mean, it's not just because these are penny stocks, and a lot of you most likely have been burned by this because you're a trader, and that is that you buy bottoms thinking like, I can't go any lower, and then it goes lower, and you're like, okay, well now it's only 20 cents. How much lower could it go? Well, the answer is 10 cents, and then you've lost half of what you put in.
You got to treat them like options.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. You got to treat them well. The thing about options is it's, ones or zeros, but I just think you got to trade it like, honestly, just like a normal stock.
I find
you got to have outs.
I find people get themselves into trouble.
Well, yeah.
Like expecting penny stocks to trade the same way. Like to me, like back in like 2 splits ago on Mullen, I think I was talking about the benefit of like it bouncing off of 20 cents. But to me, that play, you play it 2 ways. Like the way I like it is play at 20, get out underneath 10, risk 50%, but then you're looking for the push to 50 cents to $1. Like you're looking for the double up.
Yeah.
Or you just go for the gusto, be like, it's making a run to $1. I'm looking for the move to $1 and I'm willing to lose everything. Like that's the kind of thing like you do with a penny stock. I think if you're looking to play it from 20 to 25 cents on a penny stock, like those things are trash for a reason. And oftentimes those kind of incremental gains where you can swing a good company for 5-10%, if you look for those types of moves, more often than not, you're going to get burned by just a downward trend in penny stocks. But again, we'll see what happens. I'm going to get the Faraday future in a second. I didn't realize what was going on with Faraday today. I'm going to get there in a second.
Is there something going on?
Bounce on Square. Whoever mentioned, hey, Neil, look at Block. Actually, I think this came up with the Randy conversation is why we looked at Block, because he was talking about PayPal. Well, 45 held again. So long in front of 45, it just held back into VWAP here. So if it's going to give you the range, we're going to take the range and respect it. The market, I think, is in a bit of a downward trend. So as a matter of fact, I'll get out at the top end of the range there. So play inside. Like if it's an inside day, play inside. Right? There you go. I don't know. Although it's good to get some fresh air at times. But Faraday, I'm not sure. This is ugly, first of all. Like Randy was just here, and Randy's epic call, like he came in one morning and was like randomly, Faraday looks interesting, and it went from 25 cents to 40 cents. And I think that was complete coincidence. But it is destroyed today, down 23% and riding on the low right now. Forget about an SSR bounce. Short sell restricted. And here's why I'm actually saying forget about it. Because this is now like a reverse split that found a bottom, did that whole thing where it finds a bottom or a reverse split, goes ham, almost doubles up. Now it's breaking the low. This is a fresh low after the reverse split. So who knows where the bottom is at this point. If anything, underneath that previous bottom of 330, it is a dump it situation. You can forget about moving averages, like our charts aren't going to split adjust here, but you can forget about all that good stuff. Like this isn't dumpster fire. I think I'll come in tomorrow saying if it's underneath 330, look for a short, because I don't know where a bottom is on something like that. It could be It could be, like we saw Mullen do this, like it went to 20 cents, reverse split, then went to 20 cents again. So I wouldn't assume that Faraday couldn't do the same thing. I think that would be reckless to think that, oh yeah, it's $3, it'll be a bottom there, $2 will be a bottom there. Now $1, you guys know what's up. At $1, I'm looking for a long on any penny, almost anything, because the risk to reward is usually going to give you a trade. So in and out of square. Wow, that's a bit of a decent bounce in the market. That took me at a square, but gave me a fill there in Intel. So again, if you're going to play a range, play the range. Take advantage of it. That also means I want to get back over to Meta, which is very close to back up to 300. So a couple of longs off those support levels, and now you play the range. Well, if we get to the top end of the range, what do we want to do with it? Meta gets to 300, short 300 again. Like, that's sort of what's been working here. So that's what we're going to keep on doing. I just thank you guys for pointing out Faraday, because we're here, we're doing our best. We'll look at a million different stocks, not a million literally, but we're looking at a lot of different names, and then we're trading a few of them ourselves. It's easy to miss out on moves. And actually, the one thing that I had on my scanner, I actually check small caps, and I have like a high of the day Momo scanner, and I just realized I don't have a scanner on my trade ideas for stocks that are getting destroyed like that. Something that's down and just continuously making lows and breaking down further, especially in the low cap space. So I feel as if I'll get one of those scanners so I don't miss something like a Faraday again.
Right. I like that. Yeah, just real quickly here, we are thinking the same way. We just shorted Meta a little bit here. We're going to give it, I know Neil's already talking about it, so I don't want to, like I said, just keep on going.
300.
But it's at 300. So
Leonidas.
this has been a nice little trade that I think, 300, yeah. I think that this should be a good one against that high, but again, we don't want to be too sort of back and forth with it. We pretty much got out of everything. Like, we have about 20% left of both AMD and, so here's AMD here, as it came all the way back up as well. I'd still like to short. I just feel like we're tempting fate a little bit here over and over and over again by keep on making the same plays. So it's like we've really seen our net sort of, make some money back here from some of those plays earlier on we talked about. But like that Neo one, and then shorting, AMD right off the jump there, shorting that early was a mistake. So we've done really well by being patient and waiting for that. So my stop is 97.20. So now that we're here, let's just put something so we can have a very, very similar risk to reward again, right? Like if we can get a 97.10 or so, that'll give us about, with slippage, 15 cents, and then if we can get that, I think we can just fall back. So I like the risk on this trade. I think it's well worth it. Let's just see if it comes out to play properly with us.
Spring forward?
Right now. Palantir, did you say?
No, I said not spring forward, fall back instead.
Yeah, fall back. Yeah, I like the fall back. When is that? When do we set our clocks? Anyways, it must be
Isn't that November?
Is it November or is it October? We can find out.
I think I would know that. You know what? Now I know where Michael Noss was. If it's not the Vegas thing, he's in a hangover over the Smith & Wesson call. That's up 3% today. I just saw in the chat someone saying Smith & Wesson, that was a call on Friday. It is breaking out today. So it would be nice if he came on tomorrow, because I just want to know if he got into this. It just kind of broke VWAP in here and broke that consolidation.
Was that a play that he was talking about?
No, he was, Oh, you weren't here. That's right. You weren't here on Friday. That's my bad.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, what's Smith & Wesson? You gave me that look, and I was like, it didn't occur to me that you weren't here on Friday. But yeah, this was one he was mentioning Friday morning as one of his plays. I'm trying to remember if he was getting in on this local break here, or if he was waiting for it to get above 13.5. But either way, this is up 3%. So congratulations to him. Mr. Westermeyer saying SWBI looks more attractive than the Brazilian beach. Not a bad-looking stock. I'll respectfully disagree with that comment, but, fair enough. It's not a bad-looking chart, but it's, anyways, I'm not going to go down there. I'll get myself in trouble. But to be sure, it looks pretty solid. Maybe that 1350 has to go. This is more of a swing stock than a day trading stock. It's done less than 300,000 shares. I want to get that out of the way. Like, that's a name, we don't even look at it on earnings, which if we don't look at it on earnings, it doesn't do volume, because we'll look at most stocks that are interesting off earnings. So Meta, I think we just already talked about that 300 level, so I don't want to necessarily go back there. Square, I got out. Maybe that was a bad call, because the market continues to go, and Block is looking pretty strong. Could have stuck with it, but I felt I felt pretty bearish on the market, that you wanted to be covering longs in front of resistance and then getting back into shorts. Suddenly, that doesn't seem as perfect of a trade. All that said, and I'm not saying, you can make money doing a lot of things, but if you're able to identify block, I happen to look at this because Randy came by and talked about PayPal, but if you can identify this early, like right in the morning, right at 10 o'clock, there's one bounce off 45, there's two, you could have taken the third, you could have taken the fourth, and now I'm only in here on the fifth. But that is exactly the kind of thing that you want to be doing. That's why we mentioned the dollar level on CGC during lunch money and then Meta 300, because during that time, you want to find key price levels that you can just sit there and it's binary. You just go long in front of 45 even. 45 breaks, you get out. It's been giving you bounces over and over again. Intel did the same thing at 34. So taking care of business. What was the Cisco song? You know what the Cisco song was.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell
who
you.
doesn't?
You know exactly what the
Who doesn't? Who said?
No, he's asking it ironically, like
Right.
I'm going to sit there and just start singing the song.
You are going to. But
If we ever do a karaoke night, I'll do the song. I'll do thong song. I've already told. Where's Kat today? Damn it.
she's just not here. She has
We had this conversation last week. You weren't here on Friday, but we were
she had something
talking
to take
about
care of.
we should have a karaoke night for Trader TV Live. And I was like, I'm all over that.
Make it happen, man.
Well, she said she'd organize it, but she's not
she's-
here
oh,
today.
she's-
She's like, yeah, she's down. Adara's probably down. You like karaoke? You can see the thumbs up right there. The only person.
I mean, if you're from Winnipeg, you're down for anything.
It's not untrue.
See?
See?
There you go. I mean, this is what it is.
Now, Brendan.
Neil didn't know that Winnipeg was the murder capital of Toronto, or of Canada.
No, that's the first I'd heard it.
You know?
Wow, okay.
I mean, I'm just full of everything, man. Knowledge. Neil's full of knowledge.
I would have never guessed that one.
Yeah, I know.
Halifax was higher than I expected on that list as well. I love the city of Halifax.
It's not bad about the city. I mean, that was just
No,
a
it's
random
just- it was
fact
surprising.
that I somehow knew.
You know what I said? I was like, oh, really? It's not the Hammer?
Yeah, it's not Hamilton. But there we go, man. Let's just keep it going, man. There's some more taking a little bit on Meta as it's now 40 cents in the money. Like, all we're really doing, guys, is stacking it up. And, for this one, because it is
Another one.
Google,
Another one.
AMD,
Another one.
Meta. There we go. 3 wins for everybody here on the afternoon show.
Afternoon.
Yeah, the recap.
Is coming
exactly.
up. It's the
Where is that? Oh, Ramin just gave it to
Always
me. We
struggle
will
with
be
that name.
retweeting this right now, and then I will show it to you because you could join me live for the recap show. So I'm really, really happy with what's going to be going down today because here it is, and thank you so much, Ramin, for making this. There it is right now, Crypto Burb. We're going to find out about this beard. We're going to find about that ASAP. He's going to talk all about the BTC, the seasonality, some great articles coming through from this dude. So we're going to find out from Adrian what's up, man. And shout out to everybody in Poland. That's where this guy is. So he's putting it out today, going to come on for us. Obviously, different time zones. So we want to thank Adrian for coming through as the recap show gets bigger, better, and badder with new guests. We actually I got commitment from Natalie Brunell, another one on the crypto side of things that's been on our main show as well. So she'll be coming on hopefully this week. We have Brian Shannon, we've got Michael Noss, we've got Chris Bretcher, we've got Danielle Shea, we've got everything and more. I told you that we're working on more. I don't know. You want to see O'Leary coming through as well? That could be a lot of fun. We could talk watches. We could talk about all of that. That should be fun as well. So all right, here we go.
I've been getting a lot of Shark Tank shorts recommended on my thing.
The Shark Tank. They must be putting out some of that.
There's a lot of
ad money.
You know what's interesting though? All of the best clips have Mark Cuban in them.
Yeah, we can try to get Mark Cuban.
All of their best. I think he's a very interesting gentleman, but they're all pretty interesting.
He only lost $800,000 the other day because he didn't know how to use his Meta wallet. But
right.
It's all good. It's all
Right.
Hopefully
Just one thing.
recovers from that.
I think it was a couple of traders have said, thanks for like the square long. But I think it's one of those, like we thank you guys for stuff all the time. Like all you can do is look for patterns. Like a lot of trading is just about patterns, and there are some patterns which are easy and some patterns which are difficult. Finding support and resistance is an easy one. Now I'm not saying Square has made a bottom, but there's going to be a day when we're going to look back and be like, oh man, Block finally caught a bid. And Maybe today's that day. No, just kidding. The 45 level, if that can hold tomorrow, I'm going to put this one on my radar tomorrow morning because it's the kind of recovery that could start something. I'd like to see if it can hold up in the next couple of days. But anyways, it's just about finding support and resistance. And when it's that obvious, like an even dollar level, like anybody can look at that and find a bid. And we just kind of were jokingly talking about PayPal. I didn't even see PayPal's levels. I have my bid here, Meta at the mid, just underneath the mid. I'm Daryl Strawberrying it, which is stupid. I can just go to like 49 and try to get a fill. Daryl Strawberry wore 44 for anybody that doesn't know that. I'm an old school baseball guy. So I like, Strawberry, Hojo, like those are the Mets that I remember back from the 80s and early 90s. But that's just halfway to what looks like support level at 280, 298 half. So back to the 33. That's been the short this afternoon. The market's been giving you lower highs. So I think it was still right to get out of Square and take a bunch out of Intel. Because here's what I mean by lower highs. This is the NASDAQ in the afternoon. Yes, on the entire day, you're making higher lows. But I think when we get a range-bound day, I like to look at that resistance and just see what the local mood is. And the local mood has been, lower highs here. So play the short trend. Still have the Intel long. That's because it can't seem to get to 20s. Might want to take that one out. We're going to get the early look on the imbalances in 90 seconds. It's already 328. I'm expecting nothing burgers on imbalances this week. There's not really any big catalyst for it until you get to like the end of the month. So maybe you get something at like Friday, something along those lines. I'm pretty sure that's the last trading day. But I'm expecting a bit of a nothing burger. So I'm just going to continue to play the levels as they are. RNAS, by the way, that ended up being a decent long. Like I was saying, it's not horrible risk to reward because you can shoot the moon with a stop at $1.80. It halted to the upside and is now doing absolutely nothing. So it halted 230. You'd think it's about to go. It opened and it's at 225. So this is no longer moving like it was this morning. This morning's small float like mover du jour, not doing much today.
Yo, Kyle, why talk about Chuck Knobloch without talking about Kirby Puckett?
Kirby Puckett, Dan Gladden, Ken Herbeck. I go all day.
Let's talk about some Jack Morris. Right there. Okay, here we go, man. The chef is back in the building. I know Neil has it straight as well, but we just reloaded this, man. And then so there it is right now. Big time trading here on Meta as we're blowing it up there because we just got out at 11s right there on the downside. So we just took, where's our price? 88s to 11s. So, there's a bunch of 77s we could say. I'll go with Paul Coffey. Nice move to the downside right there. 77-cent winner.
You could give 11 some love, too.
We could give 11, 77. Oh, and I'm short.
Boba
Yeah, Boba.
George Bell.
Yeah, I'm not giving too much. I don't want to. Oh, here we go. Ripping right back up. I'm short 88s. So I was going to say that again. So, whatever. We could talk about sports all day. But look at that. That's why, honestly, you got to take out some of those winners, man. Like, we just made Paul Coffey there 77 cents, and we don't even have to worry because now we're not doing it. But right now, we could reload if we wanted to. And we don't have to do that because we've already put it in our pocket, and we are out of 80% of that trade right now. I'm reloading it right now, though. I'm sitting at 15s. Why don't I have any yet? We'll take a little bit right now. Whoa, I just tried to get more and create. I just tried to punch at.
It's a little levitation.
Tried to punch there. So they see a real order come in and it drops down a little bit. We just tried to get some 7s there, and then it just went right back down. So we'll see if we can get some meta short back into the game here for us.
One note. I see that, by the way, like down to Sky. You're talking about TLT. Like, I'm watching it as well. We have some other charts. Like, obviously, we show you guys one chart here. Like, we're looking at other things. We see me look up and looking at my other charts. But if you look at what's going on in treasuries, like, they're making a bit of a double bottom stair step to the downside. Like, I see that. It's like, why are we not looking for some shorts? But the market is bouncing into that. But I still look for the opportunity to reload into some shorts. I'm going to hate myself for Square. Like, this is now, like, when the market pulled back, this didn't. And the market's now looking like a breakout. I feel like you're not going to get 45s again on this stock. We'll see. But it's feeling pretty unlikely. Intel's the other long that I have. Maybe should have held on to Square, not Intel. There we go, because Square looking a little bit stronger up that 34. That's the other reload. The early look on the imbalances, nothing burger. 186 million to sell. Didn't expect a big number. We didn't get a big number. So pretty It's pretty lackluster. That said, there's enough moving key levels to work off of. And at 350, when the actual imbalance comes out, I'll be typically looking to get out of positions by that point. Speaking of get out of positions, CGC makes the bounce off 90. If you're shorting a dollar, 90 is a logical spot where there should be support, but it's also where there was support this morning. So there's a 90 level, double bottom on CGC this morning, does a wick into there. I'm not really I have like 20% of the position left, and I'm now trailing it to 95. As a matter of fact, I didn't cancel offers. I don't need those out there anymore, but I'm going to move my trail into 95 here. Still looking like it's weak at VWAP, and I still think it can go lower, but you want to make sure you lock in some of that profit. And a trailing stop will accomplish that without actually having to sit there and stare at the symbol, which you can't look at everything. I find stops valuable if you're trading in multiple stocks, especially if you're not looking at managing the position other than holding on to the last little bit of it. That's a good reason to get into trailing stops. Although I have found with trailing stops, oftentimes you've got to be accepting, like if you put a trailing stop in, you're accepting it never really looks that good on an exit because you're getting out when the stock bounces. So like, you know, if I get filled at 95, the chances of it looking good, it can just as easily rip to the top and look fantastic, or I make top wick and it just continues to flush into the downside. You're accepting that when you do a trail.
So I am trying to get out of everything now. It's 3:33. We just take another fill right there. So we'll just go stack up again right now on AMD. As we only have 15% left at this point, less than that, sorry, 10% now as we take a piece out. So if it floats back down, fine. And we did, you know, we just took an O's out. We took an 01 out there. So for like 12 cents, it really sucks for Meta, but I want to take something out. We took out 10% there for 12 cents. My stop's going to be pretty close to where this high of the day is located. So is that even the high of the day or is it just this afternoon? Yeah, no, it's all coinciding the same. So, you know, watching out
all the same, yeah.
for right now for Meta coming in. All right, what else just happened right there? AMD, okay, we got some more shorts. So again, good thing we got a little bit out there. You know, remember where our out is. We're gonna wait upside for a little bit more shares if we can get it. Well, you know what, I was gonna wait for 07s. Let me cancel that. Wait for a little bit higher because my stop on AMD is 20s. So you know what, it's just a matter of like what kind of shares I want to use because, you know, we've been making money on all of these plays, right? But like if all of a sudden, if you're only making it on whatever shares you have now, and then you double or triple the share size as it comes back up. I mean, first of all,
RNAS back, hold it again.
like we just shorted it. And then it came right back in again. So hopefully we can go back to the downside. But what I'm getting at is that although we make this move down, you got to be careful because anything can happen in these last 20 minutes. And we've seen that happen on the show numerous times where all of a sudden blast off on the imbalances. And then the next thing you know, a stop position that you thought was hot fire is hot garbage. So we're going to have to make sure that that is fine. I'm putting another bid right now at 95 because we just got reloaded, right? So we taken out there, then we get the short. Now if we can get out again, we'll just keep stacked. We just talked about it. Let's just go with this. We're having a good time, man. It's been a great afternoon. Like I said, take away the morning and we're fine. But that's, you know, it's been good. This is the life of a trader, man. You go up, you go down, and join me in 25 minutes for the after show. Neil talked about lunch money today was good. We're giving you some more content. We've got Adara back on the show, hopefully every day in the midday hour. That should be great. We've got the professor on the ones and twos, and we have you guys coming through. We got Brendan on the desk, Adrian, Ramin. I mean, I feel like we got a little bit of dream team action. Obi was there today, and if and when Max gets found.
Oh, you didn't hear about the Fabian penalty box.
What's Fabian in the penalty box for?
So on Friday, like last week, it was a long week. We're putting some work in. And
stressful. Yep.
Let's just say there were some Timbits. And towards the end of the show, obviously, you know Obi was putting in work, and he was there with Yannick, and Fabian goes over, and he offers some Timbits to both of them.
Makes sense.
And then he walks back, and he just kind of walks right past me. I'm staring right at him. Nothing happens. I'm like, okay.
So you weren't feeling the disrespect there.
I'm like, everybody knows I like some pastries, and I'm going to eat some Timbits or some donuts, and I didn't get offered them. And then right after that happened, Ramin was like, that can't happen. And she walks right over and offers me the Timbits. So I was like, this is Ramin up here, and this is where Fabian resides. He's in a little bit of a penalty box for me. And it's just, you know.
They're so cute over there, those young kids.
Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. And I'm just saying, Fabian.
Yeah.
You should share.
Neil, at least Neil doesn't hold grudges, right?
Oh, me? I never hold a
No,
grudge.
no, there's no, never.
Pastry-related grudges are fine, though. That's very different. That RNAS is ridiculous. And again, someone asked me what the tap was, and it was looking like it was going to open up flat. It didn't. It opened up flat and then just now started running. So when I say that the theoretical auction price, when a stock is halted, the theoretical auction price is if they were to open it now, this is where it would open. And it did open flat, and it is now breaking back out. So congratulations if you're long. I am not long this stock. It is what it is. Meta's still not breaking underneath that 300. I'm starting to trim it. I feel as if the market is holding up a little bit there. Let's see what happens. I'm not out of CGC, but I have a trailing stop on that one. I thought Tesla would be more of a mover today, this afternoon. And yeah, this is not really breaking out. The market goes up, Tesla doesn't get to the highs. I felt like if the market got back to 14.9, which it kind of did, the Tesla would be a breakout candidate, but no breakout in sight for Tesla. It's up on the day, but barely more than the market, which is kind of a nothing burger. So we'll see. A bit of a disappointment, I think, Tesla. I'm going to get more shares out of Intel. We have 10 minutes until we get that early look, until we get the imbalances. As I said, the early look is a small sell. I'm not falling for that trap. I feel as if the market could easily break out the high just as much as it could break to the downside. I'm going to have tight stops regardless of direction, and I'm continuing to take out this Intel. It is not moving, so if it's going to be a 10, 15 cent range, I'm just going to get out here. Because Intel every single day last week had like a 1 or 2 million sell imbalance. I'm pretty sure it's going to come out 1 million to sell like it did every single day last week.
Yeah, and here's an early look. I know we already have the
that's right.
number, but this is sort of what it looks like right now. You're going to have no NASDAQ names on here, so it's not that relevant to
Palantir.
anything, but Palantir is going to be a sell there. It's too bad because, honestly, on this name, this was another long that I wanted off VWAP if it ever got down here again. And unfortunately, right there at 1 o'clock, I did miss that, and I missed this as well just minutes ago. Like at 3 o'clock, it did come back in there. I since canceled my bids because I was short everything. Right, and you could see short Meta, short AMD, short Google, all that. So I didn't want the long because if it just came through, we would have got it and then we would have got taken out if it took 14. And then I was just like, okay, if we're going to play the short, let's just play the short and not worry about it. So, but that's what we did right there. So, okay, so now we are reloaded officially now into AMD. So where are we short at? 12s. So let's just put some bids out here again. We're very, very close to getting stopped out. Our stop out is in the 20s. So we actually talked about that. And we talked about being very, very patient, waiting for this trade to come in. And also the fact that we knew that at the end of the day, we could get this push. We already called this move down. Now we're just seeing if some of these highs will still continue to play out. And if they don't and they get taken at the end of the day, which is kind of, there it goes, something just got out. Meta, so we're actually flat on Meta.
Broke.
So we're not red on Meta today. We're flat on Meta. By taking this profit out, it's all due to this. We got 88 cents there, 77 cents there, and then now we went into the short and just got taken out. As we said, if it takes that high of the day. So Meta, absolutely no problem for us on that one. But it was a shot. We took it. Unfortunately, we reloaded it. Again, it's not unfortunate. It was part of the plan. This is when it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out there for Meta. So again, a positive name or a flat name for me today, Meta, but was positive until that happened.
Yeah, it was better in the afternoon. I mean, Meta was a bag in the morning for me, but then Meta was my best stock on Friday to the short side. But it wasn't as good this morning. Nothing was that great this
like
morning.
When you lose on it, that's the way I look at it too.
It is. And I'll tell you this right now. Like as a trader, it's very often that if something works 2-3 days in a row, you're almost more willing to say, hey, you know what? Like if it fails that fourth time, you just kind of go back to the thing that worked over and over until it stopped working.
Yes, sir.
I just did a reverse that I don't like. I'm like, why would I? The thing about reversing on a high of the day break is I don't like it in front of 350. And I just did it on Meta. I just immediately took it out. And I was thinking the same thing. And I was gonna think about a breakout too. Like if the market took out the top, would I want to try a shot long on Tesla? I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. It hasn't been that kind of a day. It has not been a break the range kind of day. So if the market wouldn't break the range to the bottom, right? Like you couldn't take out that low. You're holding support. Like why would we take out the top? On an inside day, avoid breaks in the afternoon. Right, so I'm going to heed that advice, quickly get out, cancel any order for a Tesla long. I am still in CGC and Intel. Oh, and by the way, I said this morning. I haven't said it in the afternoon. RETA is supposed to be like, it's a buyout. It's supposed to get deleted today. The deal is supposed to close. So I'm just sort of sitting in a short for the close on that name. Again, it's not going to move all that much, but I've been in it pretty much all day long. That's why you see it. You won't see it tomorrow because it should be gone.
So we got some 9s there on AMD. It's not great. Like we went short what are we short, 13s there? So not great, obviously. Hopefully it bleeds the rest of the day, but we got stopped out on Meta there. Oh, and we did take more profit on Google. And again, small profit. I did not reload this name. You know, again, a positive name there, more aggressive than the market, probably not a great name to get back into it. You saw Meta was very, very similar, and of course now Meta would be nicely in the money, but this is what trading's all about. There it is, right? You gotta, again, stopped out, putting me flat on the day for Meta, but here comes the push back in, and it's a good thing we took some of those outs as well, right there. And then here comes AMD. We are bidding 05s, I believe. There it is. Small amounts of money right now, but like I said, if we can just drip it into the account, we will do that here into the afternoon. Let's go over and handle some business.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Handle some business there with Robot Brendan. As always, check out IG. One of those things, like, you'll see us talk. We do have money talks, and Brendan will go over Forex and what's going on. And a lot of people will ask us about what's going on with the Dixie. And if you're a Forex trader, you understand it's a completely different ball game. We get it. We're equity traders here, but there are other opportunities out there, and we don't mind sort of talking about anything. But I'm never the guy that's going to say, oh, I'm an expert in metals, or I'm an expert in commodities, or an expert in say Forex. But it doesn't mean we don't look at some of those things for indicators. Like you'll see us pull up oil futures, right? Like if you've seen, like look at what's going on in energy today. Big potential breakout happening in crude oil. And it's worth watching. So if you are trading in Forex, other opportunities out there. And a lot of the principles can apply. Like if you're just looking at charts, anybody can read a chart, and charts tend to be the same. I was just going over some ideas from this morning that are still sort of setting up in the same fashion. One of them is CCL, and I was just going to point this one out because I'm mostly doing it to myself. That flat bottom that broke at 1490.15 found itself right into a support level at 1390, which got taken out. And you are now flat bottom breaking that again. So it looked like a big recovery. It could never make the breakout of that 14 level and Friday's close. And during lunch money, I said that's a pretty darn bullish looking move. It can get above that high, look for a breakout long, but it's resistant until it's not. Another lunch money idea was to short that 14 level. It's now underneath the 1390. I think it's bearish underneath 1390. It still sets up for a potential 1405 break, but it's like above 14 and 1405, I'm looking long tomorrow. I think underneath 1390, I'm looking short, and I'm not touching it in the middle. I think that's my plan of action. Still a couple of trades on here that I got to get out of. Well, as I said, that red I really don't have to, but you are grinding higher on CGC. So it's grinding higher, going to just take what we can get here. 93 is looking like it's coming in. Intel on that market bounce. As I said, Square might have been a better long. 34 and a 34.20 is all it wants to give you. Then that's what we're going to take. Steve G, I'm struggling to find the next support level for SoFi. You know, there's a lot of stocks where I think people are struggling to find support levels on. SoFi, it had that 790 level. Whenever there's a big monster gap on a stock, and, you know, like obviously support at $4.50, I don't think that's what anyone is interested in when the stock is at $7.50. I tend to look at the 200 period moving average on the daily. Like when I'm looking for longer term levels, I go back and I say either I look at my weekly chart, or like maybe you pull up a weekly or a monthly if you find something that sets up. But in this gap, which we've already put in here, you're underneath support levels, I'm looking at the 200 period moving average on SoFi, which rests just under $7. So the next time I'm looking for a long on SoFi, I suppose it could recover and be above $8, so it's possible that it goes higher from here. But I'm looking at the $7 level, and more importantly, that 200 period moving average. And that's why I have it on the chart. I think a lot of people that look for higher time frames look at the 200 period for where trends can abate. If you look at what the 200 period has meant on this stock recently, monster breakout when it took it out in May. And it was at least some level of support back, I suppose, early like March to April, like a little barcoding off the 200 period. So yeah, I'd be very patient with SoFi. Not a great look for the, for the U.S. consumer, at least in terms of some of the defaults and delinquency that we could see with some of those student loans. I think that's not everybody's going to pay it back. That's some of the concern with retail, although they went up today. That was a bit of a surprise to me to see Foot Locker do what it did. But it doesn't look good for SoFi. Wait till a 200 period, which could come in as early as tomorrow, really.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I don't think it's time to buy anything yet. I mean, I was almost close to pulling the trigger on Oracle there today, but did not. Okay, so just in AMD we trust, right? I mean, I don't know. It's very close to stopping me out right now as we come into the close. So again, thank you so much for watching. We just sort of discussed this last little trade there. Very, very close to getting stopped out right there on the high side. So we're like mechanically trading now. Our orders are already in. If it falls back, I have some bids, obviously in the O's, between O's, like 05-ish. We can get a fill there. That would be really nice, obviously, as we wait to see where we're going. And I mean, AMD looks like it's going to take out the top. And if it does, man, this is going to be a non-painful 8-cent hit. And I mean, that's why you take the profit when it comes back in. This will be a flat trade. You reload it, you get our best outs or O's there. So, now it looks like it's going to get stopped out. And if it gets stopped out, like I said, it just quite frankly gets stopped out. So that's what we're doing right now. We're waiting for this to come through. Hopefully it makes a little bit of a move down here into these imbalances. And what we're talking about is the market on closed trades. And pretty soon I'm going to take off BRKR. It's the broker feed. We don't need that right now. So we're going to wait. It's going to show up. You can see these are all from 9:30, the market on open orders. We're going to wait to see when those all update at 3:50. And if AMD is a big sell, for example, this will make a move down. But if it's a big buy, our stop order's already in. So like right now,
that's the key.
Yeah, that's the key. I'm not about flipping coins, guys. Like if it comes in, great, we'll take it out. If not, great, we'll get the bid. This is a coin flip, and it's like with a minute to go, that's why we got out of some Google, right? Like obviously now Google's a little bit, no, actually it's still in the spot. I thought it was a little bit lower than where we got it out, but it's not, it's still there. So now again, very, very small piece. We'll wait to see if it goes up. I have my stop orders in. It's the only 2 trades I have, and in just a matter of seconds, we're gonna get that release, and then we'll see where it goes. Hopefully downside, and we'll deal with it from there. But right now, we're waiting for AMD. Give us that bid for 10 cents, or give us the out for 10 cents. So either way, we're locked, we're loaded, and we're looking to trade a little bit more. NIO 850, no, that's been the top today. We'll wait to see NIO tomorrow on 850. You're still in Lee or not, maybe?
I got out of Lee.
Okay, so it's not really doing anything here into the close.
It gave 36 to 35 half, that's about it.
All right, so we'll watch AMD here.
Yeah, here comes the imbalances. What will happen? I'm not really seeing anything just yet.
Yeah.
Palantir is a sell of 1 million. That's the biggest name that we care about, is Palantir.
I don't see anything happening.
I'm not seeing any. Where's the NASDAQ? Not a lot on the NASDAQ.
Is the NASDAQ even out yet? Like nothing?
Yeah, I see Cisco.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Cisco 670,000 to sell. Apple 590 to buy. What else is there? I mean, Google 600,000 to sell. Very mixed board. Micron 500,000 to sell. These are all small.
There's nothing happening.
Yeah, this is pretty much nothing broken. The sell imbalance is just got it from Brendan. 637 million to sell, which is very, very tiny. That's not a big imbalance at all. Square's still going up. So maybe, just maybe, Block has made a bottom. At least it did today at 45, but who knows?
Yeah.
I actually was thinking that Intel was going to come out of sell because it came like every day last week. Intel was like 1 or 2 million to sell.
Yeah.
It was not. I didn't even see it on the board, so I'm just going to take it all out there. I'm going to like 34 tomorrow.
Oops, there it is.
So I'll come right back to the 34 level tomorrow because it's looked like a good support level, but now it's gone. I saw the piece of CGC. I'm just going to get on the bid here. It doesn't look like it's going to crack that 90 level, but it did give you the rejection of the $1. I like that $1 level. Oh, and just to go over what could happen tomorrow, just because I like the short on CGC today at $1, tomorrow, if we test that again, I'd probably like to break out long above $1. It rejected it once. If it gets there again, I think you could play that breakout. 103 was the high. That gives you a 103 break with like a 99 stop. I like that R&R for a breakout. First time through, we'll play the rejection. Second time through, I like to play the break.
Man, that's funny because, well, it's not funny, it's fine, but there goes AMD. So we actually, I was gonna tell you just before we flipped over to Neil there, that I got an 07 out and then the rest hit, now it's gonna come in, but then the rest hit right there when we took out 20s. So I actually got 21 fill. So we actually wound up getting a great fill, so we'll lose about 7 cents on the last piece, made 7 cents when it first came out. So again, relatively flat. Obviously, if we had held it, right now it would be a little bit better. And then the same news for Google. We got out right at 350 there at 87, so that was like an amazing 10 cents. Just kind of tongue in cheek. We would have not got stopped out of this one though, as it's pulling back in, but really happy with the performance there in the afternoon, man. We gave you guys AMD. Unfortunately, Meta is back down now. That short, you know, I just didn't want to hold it up to there.
It's still at 300 though.
You could have, because that wick, I mean, it's not an unbelievable story, so you could have held that, but you know, again, that's why we say about one of the most important things if you're watching us is to make sure that, you know, you trade a comfortable default for yourself. Because like, you know, if you have 1,000 shares, you don't want to hold this maybe 80 cents against you. If you have 100 shares, then maybe 80 cents against you is well within your parameters, right? And so that's what we're doing. We're giving you these outs. And now, oh man, there goes AMD. That sucks. That sucks for me because that would have just topped it off. We would have had no L's there, but we put an L there back in. But AMD, again, made more money right there in the afternoon, making some back of what we lost early on that name. But yeah, great show, great everything. The TQs are now pulling back in. We did have a great trade on the TQQs earlier. Short early, short again, out, and then take a 10-cent hit there. But look, it just came back to 36. Again, another area. If we had a little more time in the day, we could have looked to put on some more shorts and not gotten out of everything. You know, but we did get out of it. It's just so funny because it's like those little market hits. Like look where AMD is now. We talked about it. It's not a coin flip that I'm willing to go into there into the close. And when we break out of our levels, we get stopped out sometimes. So there it is right there. Man, yeah, a little exhausting. We are going to talk about crypto here this afternoon, so make sure you join me in just a matter of 5 minutes. We'll have the crypto burb coming through as well, talk all about everything he wants to do there with crypto. It should be a fun show, and AMD downside.
Larry Wanta winning the slots there. Not
like
bad.
that?
Not a bad way to end the day. Oh, by the way, for anyone that's like, what is going on with this slots thing that I keep seeing in the chat? If you are watching and wondering how you can participate, this is a subscribers only chat, just so it's reasonable and we can actually read it and it's not going too fast. So just hit the subscribe and then you can view the chat, you can engage in the chat, and then you can, you know, sometimes we'll have polls up there, sometimes we'll have bets in there. I never win that slots. I'm like 1 for 25, but I was happy when I did that one time. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, but more importantly, and I always say more importantly, we're going to get some new ones out here, but you got to look at the beard.
Yeah, he needs to grow that back.
And that's the one. We're going to hit that one until the beard is back because Sharif putting in work and Sharif looking a little different the last little bit, if you guys had noticed, but doing a fantastic job today with the Dara. I have to admit, like both of them doing a fantastic job. It's 3:55. It looks like when we expect things to pair off, that is exactly what happens in terms of like the imbalances. So I didn't see any big movers in there. I know Palantir was a little bit of an imbalance. Palantir just wasn't moving. It's still not moving, unfortunately. You're going to see him in that RET till the close. I have a closing imbalance print on that stock, or not print. I have an closing imbalance order on that stock, so it'll be there right to the end of the day. Steve G saying thanks for SoFi. Just giving you my outlook. I'm actually, that's a stock that I'm watching too, so it's easy enough for me to look at it. The short was a great one. I think that's kind of gone, and just waiting around for that $7 level to finally, well, not finally, I guess potentially come in to look for a little bit of a dip buy. But with less than 4 minutes to go, you're not going anywhere at 4 o'clock. You're going to stick around here for the market review. We'll take you into the close. Dan McIsaac, because I'm not looking at any new positions, I will be tricked into looking at Mullen because you typed in the symbol. So just giving that up. Is it actually moving? My guess is it's not really moving, and we're just hoping it's moving. Mullen. It's not even loading for me here. No. See, even the system doesn't want me to, oh, it is moving a little bit. So Mullen did that. That's not nothing. 53 to 56 late in the day. I have no idea why it just spiked, but apparently it did. In the greater context of things, that's not much of a move. However, this is interesting. Double bottom at 50 cents at previous support. Hey, that was a good long today. Mullen at 50 cents was kind of a really good long. It's giving you the high right now. Congratulations if you got it.
Congratulations!
I'm not looking at Mullen today. Maybe we should have been. If this thing can get through 75, it really piques my interest for that dollar level. But until then, I think you'll walk away and just wait for this to maybe sustain a couple of days of buying and not just one. If you long today would have been off that 50, and after that, I don't think you're looking at anything else. The market is breaking through those highs. Just going to double check on Tesla because this is the one that it's a very disappointing afternoon for Tesla. The market broke 14.9. Tesla's still resistance at 247. What is going on here? That's surprising to me. I would have thought Tesla would be breaking out, getting to that 250. Just puts 250 in play tomorrow. At least that'll still be there.
All right, I'm going to just step away now. So we do have to watch out for these imbalances coming through. Some of them are starting to pair off a little bit there right now. So watch out Palantir. Oh, that's Enbridge. There's Palantir again coming back in just a little bit right now today. Actually up now today, which is nice. Watching out for VWAP there, CCJ, Ironmark. There's Foot Locker, 1750. We've covered that a little bit today as that's getting a nice little bump, although it's a sell imbalance. Disgusting moves in those guys. We will talk about as well, coming up just a couple minutes, we'll talk about Costco coming through with their report. Oh, yeah, that's right. You can't change the acronym, whatever it is, that second part there on the chart. There's Costco today, positive, nice little rally there into the close for Costco, and then we have Nike later on in the week as well. So, all right, join me in a couple minutes. I'm going to pass it back over to Neil. Thank you for everything, and we'll be going over some sector watches and reviews and all that kind of stuff, and then talking some crypto today. So if you're interested in that, join me in 15 minutes for Crypto Burb, but I'm going to be live in 5 on the big desk. So, so far so good. Yeah, we'll close everything off here and see everybody in just a couple minutes.
Yes, sir. And like we said, take a second, hit the like, hit the subscribe, get us to that million. I'm pretty sure Adara is going to be on the bell in about 1 minute, making her, not the debut, because if you've been watching those shorts in the morning, giving a little bit of a market review on what to expect, what's coming up, the big story, Chinese ADRs this morning. So that's been absolutely fantastic, and now we're looking to expand her role. And best part is she's already committed to dressing up like the rest of us do at Halloween. So that's the kind of thing you get held to around here. And I'm saying that to make sure that you remember it. Dara, oh my goodness, are you serious? Like I'm like, Intel's not going. Let's get out of Intel. Intel continues to bounce off that 34 level. I like the short underneath. Sometimes you just have to accept that the short's not working. It broke out. I worked into the long multiple times at the 34, but I did not hold on to the long at 34 even. That will be a little bit of a disappointment for me, but we're not going to be disappointed to come every single day, trade for you live, enjoy trading, but also enjoy sharing it with you. AMD was, a lot of things were inside days. Like today was relatively an inside day, but that doesn't mean there aren't trading opportunities out there, whether it's Square, whether it's Meta, whether it's AMD. There's Adara on the bell. Market is closing in 4, 3, 2, 1, and the casino, or the market, as we like to say, is closed. I said I was taking the closing print on that RETA. Steve G, that is an awesome suggestion for a costume. Ahsoka would be a very complex costume. Like you'd have to figure something out there. But we have lots of ideas. Like trust me, Sean and I have been bandying about some ideas. We spent a few minutes today actually going over some of them. We will lock something down and make sure we have something fun for you guys come Halloween. I want to give a big shout out always to Just Ramin and not Fabian at the 1s and 2s because he's still in the doghouse. And of course to the midday. Obi putting in work. We don't know where Max is. We'll welcome him back when he gets back here. And of course, Sharif doing a fantastic job, not just with Obi, but with Adara, the newest member of our team, making her debut on the main show. We're going to be expanding that every single day. For now, you're going to get off my ugly mug, and we're going to head right on over to the desk. We've got Sean. We've got special guests. We're going to be talking some crypto in the market review.
Practice? We talk about practice around here? Fabian just like, are you ready? I'm like, the script. Let me read the script.